if you've trained yourself to keep a straight face during arguments, if you've practiced talking in a flat, slow, monotone, because you think it makes you sound smarter, if you've ever looked at a friend, and instead of seeing a friend, you calculated what they're worth to you, stop. Because I need to tell you something, and it's gonna sting a little. You're not becoming Ayanokoji. You're not unlocking some secret, elite version of yourself. What you're actually doing has a name in psychology, and it is not a compliment. By the end of this video, you're gonna understand exactly why the Ayanokoji maxing thing going viral right now is quietly wrecking a generation of guys. And more importantly, what actually works instead. Let's get into it. Okay. Quick context for anyone who hasn't watched Classroom of the Elite. Ayanokoji is basically the perfect human. Top of every class, wins every fight, reads people like a book, and he does it all with zero emotion. Cold, detached, untouchable. And here's the part that hooks people the show actually explains why he's like that. He grew up in something called the White Room, a facility where kids are raised with no parents, no warmth, no comfort. Just constant testing, constant pressure, total isolation. The show frames this as basically a factory. Put a kid in, get a superhuman out. And a lot of guys watching this think, okay, that's the cheat code. Strip away the emotion, strip away the distractions, and underneath is a perfect, optimized version of me. Here's the problem. That's not how the human brain works. Not even a little. In real life, when you take a baby and raise it without warmth, without connection, without anyone responding to its needs, you don't get a stoic genius. You get catastrophic, often irreversible damage. So if the origin story that makes Ayanokoji possible is actually a horror story in real life, what does that mean for the parts of him people are trying to copy right now? Let's break down what's actually happening in your brain when you try this. So here's the science part, but I'll keep it simple. Your prefrontal cortex, that's the part of your brain that handles decision-making, self-control, reading social situations. It doesn't just grow on its own. It develops through connection, through being comforted, through emotional back and forth with other people, especially early on. Same with your amygdala, the part that processes fear and threat. It needs a stable environment to calibrate properly. Take away the warmth, take away the connection, crank up the stress, and these systems don't get optimized. They get damaged. What you get isn't peak performance. It's hypervigilance, memory problems, a brain that's stuck scanning for threats instead of actually thinking clearly. And here's the twist that really matters. What looks like icy calm in the show, in real life, that's actually dissociation. Dissociation is your brain's emergency shutoff switch. When stress is constant and there's no escape, your mind literally disconnects from your body and your emotions to survive it. People describe it like watching their own life through glass, like they're not really there. In a Netflix anime, that looks cool, mysterious, powerful. In real life, that's a textbook trauma response. It's not a superpower. It's your brain in crisis mode. So if the stare isn't strength, what about the silence? The monotone voice? The poker face you've been practicing in the mirror? Surely that part's harmless, right? Yeah, about that. Let's go through the actual playbook guys are following online. Because once you see it laid out, it gets uncomfortable fast. First, the dead-eyed stare. Minimal blinking. Zero facial expression. The idea is, if they can't read you, you're in control. Except humans are wired for facial mimicry. It's automatic, it's subconscious, and it's how we decide in half a second whether someone is safe to be around. When you kill all your facial expression, you're not seen as powerful, you're seen as off. Your brain reads someone else's blank face as a warning sign, not a flex. People don't gravitate toward that. They quietly back away from it. Second, treating relationships like a spreadsheet. Calculating what every person in your life is worth to you. Who's useful, who isn't. Here's the issue, you cannot fake this long term. Eventually it leaks. A weird comment. A moment where you clearly didn't care about something you should have cared about. People notice. And once they clock that you've been treating them like a chess piece, that relationship is done, not bruised. Over. And word travels. Third, the monotone voice. The long pauses, saying less, slower. In the show, this reads as too smart to waste words. In your group chat, your classroom, your job, it reads as either bored, checked out, or low-key hostile. And in literally every study on leadership and teamwork, guess what wins instead? Warmth, energy, people who are clearly engaged. So here's the question that actually matters. If every single one of these behaviors backfires in the real world, why do so many guys still feel pulled toward them? That part isn't really about Ayanokoji at all. This is the part nobody talks about. Right now, in the US, something like 6 out of 10 young guys say they feel isolated or left out on a regular basis. That's not a small number. That's a full-blown epidemic. The Surgeon General has literally called it that. And at the exact same time, searches for stuff like dark psychology and manipulation tactics have exploded. We're talking over 150% growth since 2021. That's not a coincidence. That's cause and effect. When you feel powerless, socially, academically, financially, a character like Ayanokoji becomes incredibly seductive because he offers you a story, a way to flip the script. If you're alone, it's not because you're struggling to connect. It's because you're above connecting. If people don't really know you, it's not because you're guarded and scared. It's because you're too smart to be read. See what that does? It turns pain into a power fantasy. It's armor. Cheap, easy to wear, psychological armor. But here's the cruel irony, and I need you to really sit with this one. The exact behaviors you're using to escape loneliness are the ones guaranteed to make you lonelier. Flat affect pushes people away. Monotone voice gets you overlooked. Treating people transactionally gets you exposed and dropped. So you end up more isolated than before you started leveling up. And here's the trap: when people pull away from you, you won't think, maybe my behavior is the problem. You'll think, they just don't get it. I'm on a different level. And that thought sends you right back to the same forums and the same videos that got you here in the first place. It's a loop, and it's designed to keep you stuck in it. So if none of this actually works, what does? Here's the part that's going to sound boring compared to a motionless mastermind, but it's the part that's actually true. The most effective, most respected, most genuinely powerful people you'll ever meet are not cold. They're not detached. They are, almost without exception, really good at reading and handling emotion their own and everyone else's. There's actual neuroscience behind this. It's called the somatic marker hypothesis, and it basically proves that emotion isn't the enemy of good decision-making, it's a requirement for it. Without those gut signals, your brain has to manually grind through every single option from scratch. That's not genius-level thinking. That's decision paralysis. So, what should you actually be building instead? Emotional intelligence, not suppression. Learn to name what you're feeling instead of muting it. That's not weakness. That's data you're throwing away if you ignore it. Assertiveness, not manipulation. Saying what you want, directly and honestly, builds way more respect than any dark psychology trick ever will. And it doesn't collapse the second someone sees through it, because there's nothing to see through. Real stoicism, not fake stoicism. Marcus Aurelius wasn't emotionally dead. He felt everything. He just chose how to act on it. That's the entire difference between strength and numbness, and almost nobody talks about it. Actual skill building, lifting, making something, getting better at a real craft. Things that build real confidence, the kind that doesn't need a character to hide behind. None of this is as flashy as Emotionless Mastermind. I get it, but it's the version that actually works. In school, at work, in relationships, in your own head, late at night, when there's no audience watching. So here's where this leaves you. You now know why copying Ayanokoji in real life backfires hard. But that probably leaves you with a different question now. If none of that's the blueprint, then what actually made him such a compelling character in the first place? What is the White Room really doing in the story? And why does it work so well as fiction, even though it'd be a nightmare in reality? Because understanding that is what separates watching anime for fun from accidentally trying to live inside one. So click the video on screen right now. I'm breaking down who Ayanokoji actually is, what the White Room represents in the story, and why the character hits as hard as he does. You'll get the full picture. The one half of the internet already has, and the other half desperately needs. I'll see you there.